A trip to any country would not feel as complete if you didn't experience its capital. Bearing this in mind, I made sure to make every effort in feeling, tasting, and doing all things Tokyo as best I could. As far as metropolises go, Tokyo is a playground for fashion, sports, entertainment, and gastronomy. On that note, I'm ready to take it down a notch for a place a little more low-key, but certainly no less remarkable. Heading out of central Tokyo, I get on the JR line to Otsuki Station as my entry to Chubu.
Chubu quite literally translates to central area, which is very fitting as it lies between the two Japanese poles of Kansai and Kanto. Now, it's characterized by very high and rocky mountains, and the most famous of which is Mount Fuji, which no trip to Japan is complete unless you've stood there in the flesh staring at his bellowing grandeur from the distance. And of course, he's right back there, so it's a perfect moment to gloat and send a postcard to my mates. And yes, they do still send postcards. So, dear friends, you're missing out. Love, Henry.
Broad landscapes of blue and green are what greet me in the geographically diverse region of Chubu, which is divided into Hokuriku in the northwest, Koshinetsu in the east, and Tokai around the southern Pacific coast where I am today.
What a sight for sore eyes. We're actually situated in between two lakes at the moment. There's Lake Kawaguchiko and Lake Yamanakako. It's actually Oshino Hakai. That's the area. It's made up of 8 small ponds, but very, very lovely ponds indeed. Now, it's in the village of Oshino itself, and supposedly it's one of the spots you must go see if you're in the Mount Fuji area.
There are 8 beautiful ponds here in Oshino Hakai, with each being a pilgrimage destination for worshippers of Mount Fuji, or as it's known to the locals, Fuji-san.
Now, this pond is Sokunuke Ike. Bit of a legend behind it. Supposedly it's a bottomless pond, so anything that's been dropped in there is lost forever, be it your glasses, your wallet, your phone. So that's kind of stopped the locals from using it, like washing things or even bathing in it. It hasn't really stopped these fish there.
Before I accidentally drop one of my belongings in this pond, I think I better move on to one of its less ominous counterparts.
Look at how clear this water is. You can see right down to the bottom. The fish look as if they're pretty much floating in air. This is Waku Ike, and it's absolutely stunning. I mean, down there you can't really see it, but there's a really, really deep underwater cave. It goes back 55 meters. And it kind of looks like an inverted cone.
All the ponds here supposedly are the result of groundwater that gushed up from Fujisan's foothills after Lake Oshinoko had dried up because of erosion and draining.
This pond is called Shobu Ike. Shobu is the flower, it's iris actually. Right now it looks a little bit dowdy as it's not season, it's not in bloom at the moment, but when it is in season, the iris permeates the air with its fantastic fragrance.
Throughout the seasons, Oshino Hakai sees transformations that make it a favored site by travelers and photographers because of its picturesque qualities. Also, foodies come here to enjoy a dish made with a variation of udon resembling our Malaysian kway teow soup.
Arigatou gozaimasu. Hey, thank you. Look at that. That looks absolutely delicious. Perfect for a wintry morning, afternoon, or even dinner. This is the local dish here in the Oshino village. It's called hoto. Now, it's made up of a miso base with very thick udon there. And actually, back in the day, it was eaten by a young warrior by the name of Takeda Shingen, who would eat it before battle just to get his sustenance up and energy. So that is exactly why I'm eating it.
Fortified by that delectable bowl of hoto, I set off to a nearby point of interest that happens to be another byproduct of the mighty Mount Fuji.
There are many caves at the foot of Mount Fuji. These ones are called Narusawa Hyoketsu, which translates to ice caves, which means it's going to be very cold inside, hence the jacket. Hopefully we can go explore and there'll be light down there, because it looks very dark from here.
Back in prehistoric times, a volcanic eruption of Fujisan had sent lava flows that eventually congealed, forming this ice cave you see today.
Now, through this little tunnel here, you can actually see where all the ice has kind of built up. Usually in the winter, it's just a complete wall of ice. But during the summertime, like times like now, there's a lot of visitors that kind of heat up the place with all that body heat. And especially when it's not cold upstairs, when that heat kind of comes down, it melts a little bit. It's still very cool to look at.
Minding your step here is a must because the walkways in Narusawa Hyoketsu are not only narrow but slippery too.
And I came up from the Earth's center there. I've literally got to kind of get on my sort of hands and knees here because it's very tight indeed. And the temperatures just drop, very, very cold. And there's a lot of sort of dripping of water. It's very cool down here. It's opening up to a larger little cabin over here. You can see it was a very tight squeeze, and that's exactly where all of the lava kind of flowed through back in the day.
Deeper and deeper I go, all in the aim of finding the spot where I'm told is a portal-like point of no return.
You can sort of get lost all day in these places. This is actually very interesting. This is known as Hal Hole. This tunnel goes all the way to Enoshima in the Kanagawa prefecture. So if you were to tunnel and sort of make your way there, it might be a little bit warmer if you sort of end up the other end. This is really interesting. You sort of see up there right in the corner. Now that's an ice pillar. On average, they go up to about 3 meters long, and they're built by the water seeping through the rock and freezing upon contact with the rest of the ice. So it only gets bigger and bigger unless it's melting, of course.
This reconnaissance of the Yamanashi prefecture so far has been gratifying, priming me all the more for my main agenda tomorrow.
Good morning. Today is the day I try to climb up Mount Fuji. It is very early in the morning. I've got to meet my guide, Chia-san. She's gonna take me up and hopefully we're gonna catch a beautiful sunrise, but it does look a little bit cloudy, so I'm gonna manage your expectation. But you know what? It's the effort that counts. How are you?
Oh.
Good to see you.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, it's very cloudy outside.
Yeah.
Oh, no. But we better get moving because we've got the sunrise coming up in about half an hour, right?
It's about 5:30.
5:30?
Yeah.
Quick, let's go. Let's get it started.
Yeah.
So Chia-san, how actually high is Fuji-san there?
約3776メートル。
That is very high. And do a lot of people try to climb every year?
About 250,000 people.
Whoa, that's a lot of people. And is there anything I need to be careful of when trying to climb?
そう、気をつけることはまず足元に気をつけること。そして遅すぎるくらいのほどのゆっくりしたペースで登ることが大事です。
Pace, very important, because actually, deceivingly very unfit.
Daylight is rapidly breaking into our bleak climb to the 5th station, halfway up to the peak of Mount Fuji, which is the permissible limit for climbers during off-seasons.
In your whole time being a guide, how many times have you climbed Mount Fuji?
About 10 times.
10 times this year?
Yeah,
or
this
what
year.
about the whole time you've been here?
20 or 30.
Really? That's why you got such strong legs.
Yeah, thank you
Eager
very
to climb.
much.
I'll go slow because I'm tired.
Yeah, really?
I'll go very slow.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
If you feel tired, it's important to rest.
And to get your breath back.
Yeah. Take a rest.
What happens if you don't rest and you just... Do you get sick, like an altitude sickness?
Yes.
All right.
I'm hoping for miracles for a glorious sunrise, but alas.
The sunrise is very beautiful, but today it's very cloudy, so
Very
we can't
cloudy.
see it.
Cheesy, you didn't tell Mount Fuji I was coming.
I will call you.
Yeah, cool. Okay. I'll come back.
Ah well, even though I wasn't bestowed a clear view of the rising sun, I'm happy to continue on with a hike at the Mount Fuji Natural Recreation Forest. Also, Chi-san's sunny disposition more than makes up for the cloudy day.
頭を雲の上に出し四方の山を見下ろして
We head back to the base where we reward ourselves with a breakfast of delicious udon and hearty mushroom tea. Thanking her for her hospitality, I say goodbye to Chie-san and make my way to Otsuki Station.
Once I get onto this train, it's going to transport me to the wonderland that is Fuji-Q.
A departure from the natural attractions that I visited in the Fuji 5 Lakes region. Also located here is Fuji-Q Highland, one of Japan's most popular theme parks, ridden with exhilarating roller coasters and more. I'm not one to tackle these rides alone, so I've asked my friend from Nagoya to join me. Avid blogger Kazuha is a champion when it comes to Uno, but deathly scared of roller coasters.
Fuji-Q. You are my proverbial mountain I need to climb. That's straight after Mount Fuji, of course. With your roller coasters, your rides, your twists, your turns, your drops. Oh, that looks like so much fun.
Good luck, Henry.
Oh my, oh, good morning. How are you?
Good.
All right, awesome.
I'm not doing that.
What do you mean you're not doing that? Of course you're doing that. We've got free passes for the whole morning. You've got no choice. We're going to go on that one, I think we're going to go on this one, and maybe over here.
I intend on getting Kazuha psyched, starting off with the behemoth that is Fujiyama, which is one of the world's fastest roller coasters.
I gotta say, you are one very brave lady, in fact. Yeah. Having to put up with me and my making you go on this, so good job. Oh, okay. Oh my god, that was like the longest, highest ride I have ever been on.
Next up is Takabisha, which has twists and loops over 1,000 meters of track, including a ridiculous 121-degree freefall.
Head's still attached, head's still there, you got your legs, you got your arms. You're okay, no worries, let's go to the next ride. Come on, let's go, come on!
Okay, we survived that drop. Time for something more mellow.
Fuji-Hikosha. This is the brand new attraction here in Fuji-Q. Not really a roller coaster as such, but more of a 3D mind-melding, kind of legs dangling sort of thing. A little bit more up your alley, I think.
This one is pretty cool. Thanks to state-of-the-art 3D technology, Kazuha and I feel like we're flying high in the sky towards Mount Fuji.
How cool was that?
Yeah, it
really
was
cool.
so much fun.
It wasn't even 3D, it was more like 5D. You were kind of like whirring around, you had that mist, the wind. Just that footage was beautiful, wasn't it?
So many attractions are available in Fuji-Q, including anime-themed rides and even more thrill-provoking roller coasters that I can't get enough of. At the end of the day, it turns out even I have my limits.
Oh my god, I can't believe we just went on all those rides.
I'm talking about Henley.
Are you not affected at all? In the beginning, you were like, I don't want to do any rides. Now you want to do more?
Yes, please. I want to do
Really?
it again.
I think I'm going to be sick though.
Today, Kazuha is taking me northwest to Gifu Prefecture, to one special train station.
So this is Okinawa Onsenguchi
Yes.
Station. Right, so I hope we're not late, because actually, what is the time of the train coming?
There are trains here.
We're not taking a train.
This station has been closed for 8 years.
It's been closed for 8 years, right? So what are we doing here?
Take a bicycle. Let's
You're
go.
going to have to show me, because
Yeah.
I'm very confused right now.
We enter this former train station, and what we find beyond its walls is nothing I expected.
This is what you were talking about.
Yeah, we're gonna take on this.
Bicycles on train tracks.
Train.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That is so cool. Okay, so we actually get to ride on the old train tracks that used to come into the station. That sounds like a great day to me. All right, you better have some strong legs on you because I'm not doing all the pedaling, okay?
Okay.
Okay, let's go!
This is my first time biking on rail tracks, and I gotta tell you, it is awesome.
Now the great thing about these bikes is they're actually powered semi by electricity and semi by your own legs, so it's not all too tiring. And the train track goes alongside some of the most beautiful mountains in the Hida region. And you know what? So beautiful. Look at this river. Which river is this? Takahara River. Oh, look at that bridge.
To the Hida City locals who came up with this Gatan Go mountain biking, this experience is a definite win.
As you saw, we just went through one of the tunnels, and it gets really cold, doesn't it? Such a great sensation. It's really weird because you actually do feel as though you're still a train because the tracks themselves kind of clatter and clang.
Finishing up with our biking on abandoned train tracks, we get on a active rail route to Takayama Station.
In Malaysia, more so on the eastern side of Malaysia, we celebrate Harvest Festival, which is exactly why Kazuha and I are within this region right here. It's the Takayama Festival in the Gifu Prefecture.
It's called Hachiman Festival because of Hachiman Shrine, and many people come here to see many floats from all over the world.
Oh, so lots of travelers, loads of food stalls which I can actually see. I just hope that we don't lose each other.
Yeah.
So I'll put my hand up this way, all right? Just
Like
look out
that?
for my hand.
The streets of Takayama are not only brimming with visitors flocking from all over the world, but with all kinds of food and goods as well. It's a congregation of sorts for the special two-day procession of ornate yatai. Helping us understand more about the festival is veteran coordinator Kaji-san.
It seems a very unique festival. Is this the only one of its sort in Japan?
この屋台を中心にしたお祭りっていうのはね、例えば京都のね、祇園祭りとか、
祇園祭り。
それから秩父の秩父祭りね、それからも高山の祭り、これがですね、屋台を中心とした日本の三大美祭、美しい祭りと言われているんですね。
They look very expensive and very old. Does it take a long time to keep them safe and keep them working?
もうこの屋台はね、300年ほど前からできた屋台なんですけども、それまでも何回か修繕をしてきてるんですね。だから今回も一台それで修理中で今日出てきませんけども、やはり修繕はしなければいけないということですね。ただ修繕すると3年間それがかかる。大変時間がかかりますから。
What about once the festival is over? I mean, the yatai are so high, so big. You can't really just put it in a spare room. Where do these go when they're not on display?
これはね、屋台村といってね、それぞれの屋台海ってなんですよ。そのところに白いね、蔵があるんです。そこに縛っておくんですね。で、年に一遍だけこの祭りのために引き出すと、こういうことですね。
Ah.
Can you see the doll?
Yeah, I thought it was a little person, but actually it's
But
not.
it doesn't move. You can see the moving one in the shrine. So let's go.
Oh, so there's actually moving ones?
Yeah.
Okay.
One of the highlights of the Hachiman Festival is the karakuri performance at the Sakurayama Hachimangu Shrine, involving the Hote Itai float.
So this was what you were talking about the moving puppets?
Yeah, they are colorfully though. And here is the one with the 7 grades called Hote.
Hote?
Yes, Hote. And can you see the 2 little ones over there?
Just on the side, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. And they are children and boy and girl.
Ah, so they do like little flips and dancing. That's amazing. So inside the yatai itself, there's about 9 people pulling these little strings, so the marionettes actually move and come to life. Now, through the years, they've kind of developed the technology as such, but still keep to the traditional non-mechanical way. So it's all manual pulling and puppetry.
The yatai on display are decorated with beautiful carvings and dolls, as well as bamboo blinds, elaborate curtains, and lacquerware. As we watch the parade of yatai, I noticed that each one has its unique qualities, with some carrying figurines of deities atop them.
You'd never think that these would actually move and they were just there to sort of stand still. But now the yatai are actually going to have a procession around the town, starting with the one with the big drum. So he's kind of like a sort of pacemaker. Whoa, it's so loud.
Seeing the Hachiman Festival's yatai in person hits me on how well the folks in Takayama preserve true Japanese craftsmanship. Kazuha and I take a trip to an antiquated village that takes us back to the Middle Ages.
Deep in the shadow of the sacred Hakusan mountain lies Ogemachi, just over there beyond this little bridge here. It's home to 115 very beautiful homes indeed. It's actually the largest grouping of a village within the Shirakawa-go area, including the Shokawa Valley. So we're going to have a quick look over there. But the great thing about it, like I said, is you have to cross this suspension bridge to get to the other side.
Registered as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1995, the total area of Ogemachi in Shirakawa-go spans almost 113 acres.
A lot of the buildings here in Ogemachi are built in the Dasho-zukuri style, and some of them have been standing for over 250 years.
Yeah, and this is a real village because families are living in these houses.
The Gasso-style houses here is said to have been built by a shrine carpenter from Ishikawa Prefecture in the latter half of the Edo period.
Gasho-zukuri literally means built like hands in prayer. So from the outside, when you look at the roofs, it's kind of got this very steep sort of center bit, and it looks like a Buddhist monk's hands in that prayer position. And a little fun fact, 0 nails were used in the construction.
In olden days, people used to grow the silkworms in the attics.
Apart from raising silkworms, these houses were also engaged in production of potassium nitrate used to make gunpowder.
So what do you think of Chubu?
Chubu is amazing. Look at it.
It is.
I think it's my first time sort of experiencing really serene kind of Japanese countryside. It's usually been very active, but you can't go wrong, can you? Ogemachi, glistening in that sun, very beautifully sort of nestled in between these mountains, which Chubu's really famous for, I think, and that river. Very fresh. But I think it's a different kind of view in the winter, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people come here for skiing and snowboarding, so there's so much to do.
There's a Japanese proverb that goes, if you look up, there are no limits. So look up I did, and down, and to the left and right. It occurs to me that there is a half and half in everything to strike balance, much like my experiences have been in Chubu. From rising to great heights on the great Fuji-san to a descent to the depths of a figurative hell. Feels like I've been to both ends of a given spectrum over the last several days. Marking my midway point in this cross-country journey of mine, it seems apt that Chubu has been my 5th station on the tracks of Railworld Japan. Next week on Welcome to the Railworld Japan.
There it is. So actually, what is this place? So I'm here at a shukubo. Breakfast and dinner are all vegetarian.